Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ginger Binger podcast here on the TheGingerBinger.co and the Ginger Binger YouTube channel. What is going on tonight, folks? All right, to start things up, Royal Rumble is tomorrow night. This is being pre-recorded because tomorrow I'm going to be watching the Rumble with a good friend of mine. And boy, is it looking out to be a stacked card this night. I'm counting it right now. We have 9 matches on the go. 9 matches. So, first off on the list, we have Bobby Roode versus a to-be-determined opponent. The obvious choice would be Dolph Ziggler to come back. But who knows at this point? I mean, Dolph Ziggler is the safe bet. I'm repeating myself a little, but he is the one who makes the most sense storyline. Maybe it could be a Jinder Mahal thing. I don't know, but you never know in this day of age. I think it's going to be... I honestly think it has to be Dolph Ziggler. I mean, if it wasn't, why else when you just say who it is? You never know. Maybe they'll do something like a big old swerve and have... The Undertaker come back and challenge for the U.S. title. Nobody would see that coming. That is for damn sure. All right, second up we got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus The Revival. Oh, I'm guessing these are the pre-show. I should say that. 3 pre-show matches and 5 regular matches on the show. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus The Revival. Now, I don't see The Revival getting their win back from what happened on Raw 25, but... Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are doing something a little bit bigger, I think, with Finn Balor. There's going to be some kind of, not maybe a WrestleMania match, but something leading into WrestleMania with them. Maybe they're going to be the ones to kind of give Finn that little push that the Office thinks he needs. I think Finn is over as hell, but I do understand when someone says he is a bit boring without the demon makeup. I mean, I shouldn't say he's boring. That's not fair to Finn. He is more interesting as the demon character. That is a very interesting persona. It's a good look for him, and it's something that you can put on a poster. Finn just kind of looks like a regular everyday guy with just the leather jacket and like the 8-pack shredded abs he's got going on. So, yeah, my pick for this match, sorry I kind of got on a ramble, was Gallows and Anderson right there. All right, so next match we have Kalisto, Dorado, I don't know if I said that right, and Grand Metalik. Oh my god, as you can tell, I haven't been watching wrestling this last little bit. I'm so sorry. Versus TJ Perkins, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, and Drew Gulak. Gulak? Ugh. I don't know if that's a slur for somebody or not. In a 6-man tag match, I honestly don't know much about this match. I don't follow NXT too much. Even I don't know if these guys are on NXT. I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little off game. I'm just a casual fan, but I really am excited for the Rumble. So I'm going to go with Kalisto's team. I mean, why else? All right, so next we have the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match. 18 superstars have been announced. That means we've got 12 unofficial and perhaps some surprise entrances. This year, I would think it'd be really cool if we could see somebody like Kurt Angle enter the Rumble. We have somebody like Badass Billy Gunn, maybe Road Dogg, maybe some people we haven't seen for a little bit, like even on Raw or anything like that. Somebody like, somebody maybe like CM Punk. I mean, I know CM Punk's not going to come back, but a guy can dream, can he? That would get an interesting thing. Maybe see a Jeff Hardy return and have him and Matt meet in the Rumble, have that weird moment like, dude, what happened to you since I left? Maybe you can have... I would like to see like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan get in there. I always love seeing those two guys get in there and wreck shop. I honestly think that those two could kind of be considered the new muscle tag team. And what I mean by muscle tag team, like what the APA was, what Tess and Albert were, what Bull Buchanan and Big Boss Man were. They were in there just to beat the crap out of people. They never really won any titles except for the APA and I think TNA maybe. But... they are there to kick ass and be kind of enforcers, usually for the heels. Of course, that's what they're for. They're in there to kick ass, and if they're faces, the muscle tag teams are usually there to get the crowd going. Oh my god, this is going to be great, and then they usually get their ass kicked, midway through. They do a little bit of damage, but not enough to like beat anybody. Who else would I love to see in that Rumble? There's a few people I'd like to see. Somebody like I'm fucking blanking. Oh god, oh help me. Help me, God. Well, you'll probably see someone like Jinder Mahal in there. Actually, is he on the list? Let me check. Jinder Mahal. No, Jinder Mahal's not in there. So, yeah, you definitely see Jinder Mahal get in the Rumble. I guess I'm kind of blanking. I really am excited for the Rumble this year. It'd be great to see like someone like Hulk Hogan come back. I don't think he will. It would be a nice just moment for the fans to hear the dun, 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 he playing the air guitar, or somebody maybe like you could do Kevin Nash, I guess. There's no way I would do Razor Ramon. He looks pretty bad in terms of like just he's old. Age just taking its toll. Do someone like D'Lo Brown though and have a little fun. I think that'd be like a little bit of a fun surprise. Have like Val Venus or something. See, we're at that stage now where the wrestlers who I grew up on are kind of the fun return. Like I started watching around late 1999, 2000. That's when I was just getting old enough. So maybe somebody like that, like D'Lo Brown, Badass Billy Gunn, Val Venus, The Godfather. You always got to have The Godfather around, man. Have somebody maybe like Taz. Taz would be awesome to see come back in the Rumble because of what happened in 2000 when he debuted and the whole crowd just went nuts for him. A hometown New York crowd for the ECW original. For this match, it's kind of a toss-up, but this is like my wish pick. I would love to see Bray Wyatt win. I honestly, my money's not on him, but he is my favorite factor. I would love to see that. You could, I don't see Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, or anything like that. But maybe, you never know at this point. I'm just going to call it, I'm just going to say it right now. I'm going to put my money on Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt to win the Royal Rumble 2018. Although they're going to have a spot where him and Matt, woken Matt Hardy meet up. I thought that was a very funny little way to get around the copyright for that. Well, if you can't do broken, why not just do woken? It was pretty funny. So yeah, out of everybody who's entered so far, I'm gonna throw in Bray Wyatt and just see what that does. Because imagine if they went with Elias, that would be a great way to start. Like rookie year on the Rumble. Okay, yeah. I don't think they would. I wouldn't think you'd do Reigns again. Oh, but you never know. WWE is very stubborn. So yeah, I'm gonna reiterate: Bray Wyatt on to the next Rumble. So now we got the women's match, and this one is what I'm really looking forward to this year: the women's Rumble. So, and I'm very glad when they talked about it that it's going to be just like the men's Rumble, over the top rope. Both feet have to hit the floor. So there's none of this through the bottom rope, through the middle rope. It's going to be a quality standard Rumble to show that these women know how to wrestle. And all of these women know what they're doing, and that's going to be great. Because I always would hate to see a Battle Royal back in like 2006, 2007, where it would just be like thrown through the middle, and it would look like such a bad pratfall. It was gross to watch. And I don't mean that in disrespect to any woman who's ever gotten in the ring. That is, they are much tougher than I will ever be. I'm just saying, from a fan's point of view, it looked very bad. If any woman out there who's ever gotten in the ring, has a problem with that, or anybody who's gotten in the ring, I'm sorry, but from a fan's point of view, it looked terrible, and you were trying to entertain us. But yes, with the Women's Rumble match, everybody's talking about Ronda Rousey coming back, and with Stephanie McMahon being on commentary, will there be a little, thing there? I honestly think my money would definitely go on, what is her name? I can't say it. Asuka? Asuka? I'm going to say Asuka. I've heard Asuka a few times. I never know how to say it. I never have. Yeah, I'm putting my money on her. I mean, undefeated streak. Why wouldn't you have her win the Rumble? But you could do something different, I mean, I'd love to see Becky Lynch win it. Becky Lynch and Charlotte are my two favorite women's wrestlers, definitely, and they're both so talented and both so beautiful. And I don't mean to sound like a misogynistic jerk if anybody takes it that way. I don't mention anything about the guys being beautiful. I mean, I'm sure they all are. I just don't find them any attractive personally, and there's nothing wrong if you do. But no, I would say Asuka's going to win. I think the Final Four, I'm going to call the Final Four in that match, will be Asuka, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, and I'm going to say Alicia Fox, honestly. Carmella might be in the Final Five, but she's going to get tossed out because she got Money in the Bank, doesn't she? She still does, doesn't she? Oh, I got to check that out now. Carmella, Money in the Bank. Let's see what we got going on. Let's see. Carmella. All right. Yeah, she still does. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Kind of got a little sidetracked there. All right. So what other matches do we have today? We have... Where are we going? I'm looking at the Wikipedia here just to see what we have. I'm kind of blanking. It's been a long day. We have the Usos, Jimmy and Jay versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. I'm actually really looking forward to this. The Usos, over the past 6 or 7 months when they turned heel, I don't know if it's been that long or it's been longer, they really got my attention. I always liked the Usos, especially when they were faces coming out and doing their haka. I think that's, I'm just trying to remember from memory what that word was. If it's not, I apologize. I really enjoy the Uso Penitentiary and kind of like the Samoan gangster thing, the Samoan hip-hop thing they got going on. It's kind of reminiscent of 3 Minute Warning, but instead of two really big, huge Samoans, it's two athletic, very quick and young Samoans. And they're really good at promos, and I think they're a team I love, too, that they look like a tag team. Because I remember about, 8 years ago, 2010? Yeah. That a lot of tag teams were just thrown together, and none of them actually wore similar attire, similar colors, just something that made them look like a team. These guys, I like that they do that. Their matches are really good, so I'm definitely going to say the Usos over Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Oh, I remember Shelton Benjamin. When it was 2004 when he beat Triple H, I really started to like him then. He was a really great athlete and very, very good at what he did. Like when you'd see moments where he'd run and jump from the ring onto the top rope and land on it, just from, there's no middle there. He just goes boom and up. It was really, really impressive. And anything he did with the ladder, Money in the Bank, anything like that. And then we have the Raw tag team match of Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus Cesaro and Sheamus. I don't see Cesaro or Seth Rollins losing the title just yet. I feel like there's going to be something that's going to spark him a WrestleMania match. But it's not going to happen now. So I think they're going to retain. I would love to see Cesaro and Sheamus again, but, give it a little break. I mean, I don't know. I just find Jason Jordan just a little too... He's boring. I can't say it any other way. I think the kid is really... he's probably older than me. What am I saying? He's got a great look. He's just boring to me. Yeah, he's older than me. All right, so now we have AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I honestly think that the only way you would go in this would have to be, unless you want to make your two heels look completely stupid, you'd give it to Owens. Because Sami Zayn, I wouldn't think they'd put the title on him. They would basically put Zayn, or they'd have it, well, there are two ways you can do it. Owens wins over Zayn, and Zayn has the win, but Owens pins him, and then create a little dissension right there, which could happen. But I really think Kevin Owens is going to win this. I don't know what they're going to do with Styles at Mania. Could be something a little interesting, but I can't see Styles escaping both of these two, unless you had some interference from management, which is all likely. Could happen. You never know. My pick, though, is definitely Kevin Owens. Excuse me. And then we have Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman and Kane. Now, with Brock Lesnar being a money match kind of guy, he is totally going to hold on to this title. I honestly think that Braun Strowman shouldn't be put in a position. Maybe I think that's what Kane's there for. Kane's there to take the fall, but Braun Strowman, he's got to do something. I think it'd be cool if he came into the Rumble after. I think that would what would actually make sense happening. He loses to Brock Lesnar, and then he enters the Rumble and just starts tearing it up in there. Who knows? He could win. That'd be something interesting. You never know. With WWE, anything can happen, I guess. But, yeah, Brock Lesnar totally will win. I love seeing, big man matches. It's always been my thing. I really love big powerhouses, anything like that. Like last year with Goldberg versus Lesnar at Mania. 10-minute match, but it was suplex, finisher. And it really just put these two together. There was no stopping with that. That was just a heartthrob moment of it's the unstoppable force meets the immovable object, and it's just the clash. I guess you could say I'm like the Andre Hogan fan. I really love those type of big name, big money matches. So yeah, so my picks are Ziggler to return, Ziggler to beat Bobby Roode, Gallows and Anderson, Kalisto and the rest of his team, Bray Wyatt for the Men's Rumble, Asuka for the 2018 First Women's Rumble, Lesnar for the Universal title, AJ Styles or Kevin Owens for the WWE title, Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, and the Usos. Those are my picks right there. And now we're going to get serious for a minute, and we're going to talk about the Enzo Amore controversy. And I want to start off by saying right now I will be acknowledging my privilege as a white, cis, straight, gendered male, and all of that other stuff that, comes with being a white, straight male, I acknowledge that I'm fully privileged in this society. So, and I'm not gonna be here to discredit the victim or smear the accused. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about the reaction from both wrestling fans and social justice activists, I guess. I don't want to say warriors because that's a really dickish term to describe people. It truly is. I want to talk about when something like this happens, what reactions there seem to be, at least. There's two sides. There are very seldomly people in the middle on the topic of sexual assault and rape. And I can see why. I'm just trying to, I guess, speak out how I feel about these types of allegations and the way as we react to them as society. Now, there's one side who automatically defend the accused to no end. And you can see the logic behind it. I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm not going to say that. I'm just talking about the different aspects. That's what I'm here for. So please don't call me a rape apologist or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to do. Where people, especially of a celebrity, because this has been happening all the past 6 months with Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey and Casey Affleck, all these people are being outed to the public, and the public is cutting them down and tearing them up, and not saying that I'm just going to be talking about Enzo Amore. I'm just using these as an examples of what's been happening recently. Enzo Amore had it happen this past Monday, so almost a week ago. He was suspended and let go based on the allegations, and treading water here. You're try not to say anything you're not. Not that you're not supposed to. You can say whatever you want. That's the free speech we're given. But just because you can say it doesn't mean you should say it, or doesn't mean that it is right to say. So I'm just trying not trying to piss off anybody here. I'm just trying to have a conversation about it and speak how I'm feeling about it. There are people with it being a celebrity automatically rush to the defense, and it makes sense why you would do that. It is someone who you look up to, someone who you like to see on TV from week to week, and when someone attacks them, it's almost like they're attacking a piece of you. That's how I see it. Because you invest in this person, you like seeing them. So when that someone is attacked, you take it a bit personally, and you will make excuses. You will downplay things, and you will victim blame. Now, on the other side of things, though, too, when something like this happens, people are very quick to grab their torch and pitchforks and want to go on a witch hunt. And they will automatically start smearing someone, and they will start bashing them. And again, both of these sides, I understand, are doing this for what the reasons they think are right. Now, there's somewhere in the middle, I think, that when these things happen that I fall on. I don't want to make the victim feel like they can't come out and say these things, because if it's happened, you have to say them. It's a terrible thing. If it happened, and I'm not saying it did, I'm not saying it didn't, I'm just saying with what we know right now, we are unsure, that if this happened, it was a terrible thing, and she deserves justice. And that's with all sexual assault cases, anything along those lines. And I can understand from, especially being a white straight male, that being accused of something like this can ruin a career, it can ruin relationships, it can basically smear your reputation. And it happens just at the flick of a dime. And, people who were your friends yesterday will turn on you for this. And if you've done it, then well deserved so. But if you haven't, you will never be able to wash that off your name. I think if you killed somebody, straight up first degree murder, you have a better chance of earning people's admiration and trust back than you did if you were a rapist. Now, when these things happen, I'm kind of going back, but you have to in these situations. I try to look at this objectively. I know Enzo Amore, the wrestler, was someone I was looking up to in terms of confidence and how he presented himself, in terms of how he carried himself. But also that on the other side, that this guy may have done something like this and that this woman was hurt and she feels like she has to come out and say it because he's reaping the rewards after what he did, and that's not just. So it's when I look at situations like this, I try to see, I hear her out and I try to look at his point of view and see. I try to judge what we learn as it goes. I'm not immediately gonna say, "Oh, she's automatically right," and go hang the guy. That's not, in my opinion, that is not justice either. Just immediately, I do believe in innocent until proven guilty, but I'm not going to defend him. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to stand back and hear out both sides and see what evidence comes out and see how the court handles it too, because that's how I take a big direction is the law, because there are people who understand the law more than me, and I understand that the law doesn't necessarily have people's best interests in mind, especially women. There's no doubt in that. History has proven anything that women are not treated fairly when it comes to these sexual assault cases. I think, though, it is dangerous, personally, and this is my opinion right here. Does not reflect the TheGingerBinger.co or anything like that. This is just my personal opinion. That you can take a woman's side without believing her blindly, if that makes sense. I mean, I should word that better. I didn't word that great. That believing somebody blindly, that they are 100% telling the truth, I think is dangerous without evidence. And on the other end, blindly defending someone because you say you know that person, or that person's a hero of yours, or the person who's on the other end is not a reliable source, is very dangerous as well, because you can be disparaging someone who's gone through absolute hell. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're listening to this and something like this is, comes up with a hero or someone show support, but don't immediately call up arms to fight for them. And that's just how I view these situations. Because I was reading the comments when I was reading up on the rape victim and her video about describing what had happened. A lot of people were immediately just calling her a liar, saying she's untrustworthy, the story sounds bullshit. And when people were talking about Enzo, when they were reading a statement, people were also on there being like, he's a rapist, he should be shot, this is terrible, no judge, no jury, just an execution, that type of thing. And again, these are internet comments, but I do know people who are on my Facebook or on my Twitter that do share these kinds of views, that immediately jump the gun and want justice, but before we even know what's going on. I feel like that is the problem with internet culture a little bit, is that we are so quick to jump on the bandwagon and charge at somebody. Charge for a cause, whether that be for good or bad reasons. We just need to, all of us, need to just take a step back and review what we know and work on that. And again, I want to say it right now, I'm not defending Enzo Amore and I'm not disparaging the woman. I am trying to keep this as equal as possible. This is a situation that I was not there for, I was not involved in. And honestly, when the truth comes out, if we have it, that justice is served. Now moving on to a different subject, I want to talk about Crave TV, all right? I got Crave TV from my mom last year, at Christmas time. And for a full year we've had it, and I canceled the subscription along with my mother's approval because it was for her, so I wanted to know if she wanted it again. She didn't. It was a service that had some good shows on there. It had like the James Bond series, it had a lot of HBO shows, which was great. I watched Oz on there when I could. But I think what Crave has a real problem of, their app is shit. There's no other way to say it. Their app would always crash on me anytime I would want to come on, like just turn the app on. I'd have to sign in and remember the password, and I would always click remember the password or anything. And if I wanted to sign in on a different device, it would always be like, okay, you must get the code from your computer and put it on your Apple TV, and it was always just such a big pain in the ass. I think that I'm basically saying that if Crave ever wants to rival Netflix, because Netflix is the biggest game in town. You can say maybe they can't rival. I think they can. They got a good list of shows, different from Netflix too. They got a lot of TV, which is great. I mean, it's in the name, Crave TV. They need to fix their app though, and they need to also put their app out for more products. You need it for the PlayStation 4, which is something I would have watched it on all the time, but I don't have that in my apartment. I'd be sitting here on my desktop watching it, which I can't get that comfortable with. It's just not as fun. I can't go out there with my big bowl of chips or something and enjoy a James Bond marathon. It's really disappointing when an app or a company has so much potential and then it's brought down by such a main stake of what they should be aiming for. That should be something that Crave should have snuffed out from day one. It's not user friendly. It's shit. It's buggy and it crashes way too goddamn much, in my opinion. If anybody out there is listening and you work for Crave or anything like that, please pass this on, because I really want you guys to succeed, especially because you guys are doing a lot more original Canadian programming, which I am all for. More film jobs for everybody, more acting jobs, go for it. But we need to get the basis right on this. Your app is really not... Your app is shit. I've said it like 18 times, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of reiterating it. But there's no other way to get around it. Your app is bad. Keep on trying though. I mean, I still, who knows? Maybe a year down the line, if their app is fixed, I will gladly get Crave back. I don't mind paying for Netflix and Crave. If I get them all for one, I wouldn't mind. But when you're offering me different things in the competition, that's when you start to get my attention. That's what you did. You offered great TV shows and good movies that Netflix couldn't get a hold of, and HBO shows that I never got to see. So I'm really happy about that. Another thing I'd like to talk about today is spoiler culture. Now, to me, an acceptable window of spoiler is different for each type of medium you're watching. So whether that is television or movies. So for example, we're going to use the show The Sopranos. And I'm just going to say this right now, it's evident. Spoiler alert for any show that I'll be talking about from this point on, okay? I'm giving you fair warning. Spoiler alert. If you hear a show or a movie that you haven't seen and you want to see and you hear me talk about it, stop listening, go watch it, and then come back here and listen to what I'm going to say. So, spoiler culture for The Sopranos. The Sopranos went off air in 2007, I think it was. And I was in the supermarket yesterday, and I was talking to my girlfriend about the ending of The Sopranos, the ending that everybody and their grandmother knows. And this guy was standing, layered a little down the aisle, and I'm talking loudly. I'm a loud talker. It's who I am. And he turns to me and says, "Dude, spoiler, man, I haven't seen it." And it gave me a moment where I was like, no, piss on you. You've had over a decade to see this. The fact that you haven't and you're telling me to not talk about it is bullshit. Now, I can understand if, let's just say, The Sopranos ended last night when he said that. Like, let's just say it ended the day before and I was talking about it so loud. I completely understand him asking respectfully, "Hey man, could you just not talk so loud? I haven't seen the show. I'm really excited to look forward to it. I'll be watching it very soon." That is completely acceptable. I say you give someone a 3-day window to see it before you start openly talking about it in public with your friends. Now, over social media is very different because I know there were a ton of people, and I've made the mistake of doing this myself. In Game of Thrones, Episode 9 of Season 3, the Reigns of Castamere, ended up being the Red Wedding, where Robb Stark, Catelyn Stark, and Talia Stark all died. And after I saw that episode, immediately I posted it on Facebook, the Starks better step their game up. And that right there, I would never post that, because that is immediately hinting to someone that something's going down with the Starks and shit's not going to go well for them. And that's not fair. It takes away someone's experience. Now, let's just say, yeah, you give someone 3 days to start talking about it. Over social media. I feel, well, nobody's going to listen to me, I guess. But if you're going to talk about how much you enjoyed the episode, I would literally just do, hey, I enjoyed the hell out of this episode. It was really great. Go watch it if you can. Spoilers from here on. And put it in big text. I know some people do that, but some people always just start out with, oh my god, the Starks are dead. That's how I feel about spoiler culture. And movies are the same thing. Movies not everybody can get to right away. I say give movies about a week before you start, like, in my opinion, start like, oh my god, like, talk with your friends and, have fun with them. But don't be, like, yelling from the top of the room or... I'm going to go on a rant about this. If you are an online video creator or anything like that, if you're going to post a scene before you get taken down by copyright and all that jazz, people do it. I'm not going to say don't do it because you're going to anyway. Yeah. If you're going to post a scene or a review of an episode of TV or a movie, do not show the twist, the spoiler, or hint at it in any way. I think that is complete bullshit and you're ruining somebody's experience. That's what TV shows and movies are. They're experiences. And you're robbing someone of something, of a potential life-changing, thought-changing moment. And you might think I have my head up my ass, but that is what films and TV can do. Video games as well. They're art forms, and art is made to make you think, to make you feel. And the fact that some people like to rob people of that, to me, is a real, it's a shitty thing to do when you're a shitty person for that. Prime example, the Mountain and the Viper episode of Season 4. I remember I had watched the show. I was like, oh my god. And then I typed in Game of Thrones, and I just typed it in and see what came up. And it was so many reviews of everybody's thumbnail was Oberyn Martell getting his eyes gouged out. And the tagline was, mind-blowing episode of a review, Mountain and the Viper. I'm like, well, that gives away the ending. And it's like, if you type up review after you see it, that's what you get. But I literally just typed up Game of Thrones. If you want to do this is how I would do that. I would literally say Game of Thrones, Mountain and Viper, mind-blowing episode, and just have a picture of me just going, oh my god. Now you might say, oh, that won't get me as much views, but it also shows that you have respect for your audience, that you care about their experience. And if you have that lack of respect, I feel like you won't last on there. Because from what I've learned from being in the entertainment business is that if you create a build with your audience, if you create a community or you create a fan base and then you just, insult them and shit on them and blame shit on them, they'll turn on you so quick. It takes a long time to build that. If there's one thing I understand about leadership is that the people will work for you and people will follow you and people will charge off a cliff for you if you treat them with respect and you treat them as human beings with dignity and not just as like an asshole. Kind of got off on a little anger there. I'm sorry about that. I'm usually a pretty happy, funny, go-lucky guy, but there are some things in this world that just really gripe me, and spoiler culture can be one of them. That's why whenever I watch a show or anything like that, I stay off the internet. I stay away from spoilers because I like to have these experiences. I hate when I have a good friend of mine who will look up the plot to a movie, like the ending of a movie, and then complain about it because he saw it coming. You do not get to read the spoilers of the movie and then say, oh, how could you not see this coming? No. If you saw it coming when you watched the movie, that's perfectly fine. Complain all you want. But if you read it beforehand and then you complain, go shut the front door, you jackass. I remember the movie Fight Club. I love that movie so well. But midway through the movie, I had an inkling. So I'm like, I think Edward Norton and Brad Pitt, there's something up there. I said, Brad Pitt's not real. And it was the scene where... what's her name? Is it Marlo? Marla? It's Marla. When Marla and Ed Norton's character are arguing, and then Ed Norton looks down the stairs and sees Tyler Durden and he says, hey, don't talk about me. In that moment, the way it was shot and the way he was just waiting there for him, I'm like, Tyler Durden's not real. I didn't know that they were the same person, but I'm like, Tyler Durden is not a real person right there. That's what hinted at me. Now, I had a friend who knew the ending to The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis being a ghost and all that. And he watched the movie and he's sitting there and he says, oh man, that is so predictable. How could you not see that coming? Anybody that found that a surprise is not a very intelligent person. And it's like, no, fuck you. You jackass, you knew the ending. You knew what to look for. If you're just watching this as an experience, why most people love the twist so much is because nobody saw that coming. It was done so masterfully. When you rewatched it, it all made sense. And that's what a great twist is. I've learned this because I'm writing my own short film that has a little bit of twist in it. If you rewatch a movie and the twist doesn't make sense, it's not a good twist. All the pieces have to be there. You have to hint at it throughout the movie for you to go, oh my God, that is an oh shit moment. So, all in all, don't spoil things for people if you can, but also if you haven't watched it and it's been a while, that's your fault. So please, guys, don't be dicks. That's all I'm trying to get at. All right, guys, have a good night. Ginger Binger, over and out. Subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and of course, visit the website, gingerbinger.co. Keep on binging, folks. Keep on binging, folks. Keep on binging, folks.